What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This is an automotive podcast about cars. I'm your host, Matt Farah. Before we get into it, let me talk to you for a second about StockX. And if you love watches like I love watches, you got to know about StockX. Why? StockX is the world's first online stock market of things for high-demand consumer products, including sneakers, watches, and handbags. StockX connects buyers and sellers using the same methodology as the world's stock markets, an anonymous live bid-ask market. All products are physically authenticated by StockX, allowing participants to focus on the transparency of data available, including real-time market pricing, in-depth market analysis, individual portfolio tracking, historical sales, and volume metrics. That means no stressing about shady buyers and sellers, no lengthy descriptions, and no blurry pictures to decipher. All you have to worry about is finding the watch you want and placing a bid you feel comfortable with. StockX makes buying and selling watches online a lot better. Trust me, give it a try yourself at StockXWatches.com. That's StockXWatches.com. This episode is also brought to you by Beeline Coffee. I drink it every day, every morning. It's the roasted tire, and it's delicious. It's got actually quite a lot of caffeine in it. Notes of blackberry and raspberry. It's a medium roast. I love it. It's available in the Beeline Coffee store. Use code TST at Beeline Coffee and get 15% off your entire order, no matter how big or how small. Code TST at BeelineCoffee.com. Lastly, if you're in Los Angeles this Thursday, myself, Cameron Weiss, and the Watch and Listen podcast, the show we do about watches, are hosting a car watch meetup at Weiss Watch Company in Torrance, California. I don't do a lot of meetups, but this is going to be a good one. I want to hear your stories about your cars and your watches. It's October 4th, 7 to 9 p.m. at Weiss Watch Company in Torrance. RSVP to info@weisswatchcompany.com. All right, on this episode of the show, I'm interviewing a man named Robert Siegel. He's the director of a new movie called Cruise. Cruise is a really cool flick. I checked it out. It is set against the cruising and street racing culture of Long Island and Queens in the 1980s. And I watched it with a keen car guy eye, and both aesthetically and technically and in the dialogue, the car stuff is right on point, actually. It's really, really accurate car stuff. And if you grew up in the Northeast in the 80s or the 90s, this is going to be a very familiar podcast and a very familiar movie. The director of the movie Cruise, Robert Siegel, in studio on the Smoking Tire Podcast. So the film hits close to home. It seems like we're now in, this is the show now. We're now doing the show.
Okay.
Give you a little more volume. We can
so
just
I
go.
should start being interesting.
Please.
All right.
We can curse, whatever the fuck. It's all good. There's no FCC.
Oh, love it.
It's brilliant. Robert Siegel, ladies and gentlemen. Do you prefer Rob? Robert, what do you like?
Let me just test the mic. Fuck, shit, fuck, shit.
Cocksucker, motherfucker.
It works.
It's good. It's good.
Robert or Rob?
What do you like?
Rob.
All right, Rob it is.
It's no B, and I don't do Bob.
No, you're not a Bob. I have an uncle.
No.
I have an uncle Bob. That's a Robert.
Weird.
I also have an uncle Richard who goes by Dick,
Dick.
which I don't understand the voluntary.
Is he very, very old?
He's like in his 70s.
Oh.
He's not that old.
No.
He wears that shit like a badge, though. He really wants to be Dick.
He wants to be Dick.
Oh, yeah. I think he really likes it. Rob Siegel. Hello, sir.
Hey.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I watched your film last night.
Yeah.
Cruise, your new movie. I liked it.
Nice. Good.
Even though it's like a romantic kind of movie.
Oh, yeah.
It is totally set against a backdrop of
Even
a
though there
scene
are
I
things
love.
besides cars in it.
Some.
Yeah.
Although, goddamn, do you get the cars in? You really got the cars in.
There's a lot of cars in that movie.
You've been around a little bit. You wrote The Wrestler.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Thank you.
And you wrote The Founder.
Yeah.
Which I fucking love.
Oh,
I
thank you.
love The Founder.
Thank you. Yeah.
Ray Kroc was such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Tell me, I want to talk about
Sure,
Cruise, your new movie, but I also want to talk about The Founder a little bit.
I probably don't know enough about cars to fill an hour, so let's do 20 minutes.
I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
I could talk.
I bet you do.
We'll see.
Based on the film, I bet you do.
Yeah.
So, you're from New York?
From New York. Yeah, grew up on Long Island.
Where in Long Island?
Merrick, South Shore. You know it?
Yes, a little bit. My fiance is from Long Beach.
Oh, really?
So I know the North Shore, the South Shore, a whole fucking shore.
Yeah,
and I'm from Westchester, so I've been around.
Long Beach is trendy now. People are moving
Long
there.
Beach is cool.
Yeah, people are moving there.
Well, once the hurricane trashed it, it was like, wow, I can get an oceanfront home.
Yeah.
here now.
Prices dropped and they rebuilt the boardwalk.
My fiance's parents' house is literally front row in Long Beach,
Jesus.
and it got trashed.
Did they rebuild
in
it?
Sandy. Yeah, they did.
Oh,
They've
some
been
of
there
those
for
houses they don't even rebuild.
Some
because
they
of the-
didn't, but you know what they're doing now is they're lifting them. There
Oh,
are
on
people
the-
who want to stay and rebuild are raising their houses like 10, 12 feet off
Jesus.
the ground. It's really bizarre. It looks like one of
How
those
do they
like
get to their house?
it's fucking staircases, and
giant
they
stair-
and they have these weird carports, and then just a bunch of air and a tall ass staircase. It's so bizarre,
Jesus.
but they're doing it.
Just move inland.
Yeah, how
Get a ground level house.
No, you know what? Something about that sea air, man.
Yeah. No, I
You
know.
know, I live in Venice, and there's gonna be a storm, and it's gonna take my shit right out.
Are you
I
right
just
on
know
the
it.
beach or
I'm close enough that I won't be escaping.
on one of those little the walk streets?
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably right where I am. I'm on 18th place.
Oh yeah, you're not far from my house.
Staying at Airbnb.
There you go.
Yeah.
Airbnbs in Venice are what's up.
Oh, it's
There's a
great.
lot of them.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
A lot of mounted surfboards on walls. Every house I can walk into, there's a surfboard mounted.
Everyone's got that's what you do with
I
your
guess-
old boards. You turn them into art.
Yeah.
You got to create the Venice vibe.
You never see
know?
surfboards on walls in New York City.
The South Shore, maybe.
Yeah.
You might in Long Beach. They surf. They actually do surf a lot. in Long
Yeah,
Beach.
no, I know there's a lot of those wetsuit
So
guys.
when you grew up in Long Island, the cruising street racing scene depicted in Cruise, is that your life?
I'm actually more like the girl. This will make more sense when people see the
Yeah.
movie, but it's about
Played by
a,
Emily. Is it?
Emily
Say it out loud.
Radikowski.
It is Radikowski.
Yeah,
I've only
the
ever
J-
read her.
Yeah,
name.
it's one of those names you don't hear. The J is silent.
And
All the other letters you say out loud.
I have to say,
Yeah.
is this her first acting job?
It's her first lead role.
She did good.
Yeah.
She
yeah.
did. She
Yeah.
was. Her character was like well developed
Yeah,
and good, and
yeah,
her
she's-
acting was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, very
You
impressive.
sound shocked. You don't think I'm
No, it's not
No,
that I don't think a model was,
no,
but
she did. I don't think she's had formal training.
yeah, I mean, I think
good.
of her as a model. I
Yeah.
don't think of her as an actress.
Yeah,
and
no, she was in Gone Girl. She was
she in Gone Girl?
Yeah, she was
Who was
like
she?
she was sort of like the teenage jailbait who he has.
Oh shit, you're
Ben
right. She
Affleck
was.
has,
Yeah, I forgot about
has a
that.
fling with. She was in I Feel Pretty. She's done a lot of little, appear on screen for 5-10 minutes kind of things. but
She
this is her
she
first
carried
time.
it.
Yeah,
She carried
yeah,
it well.
She's great. She's great. So she plays the movie takes place kind of on it's a little bit autobiographical, geographically autobiographical. I grew up on Long Island. The movie takes place kind of on the border between, if you know your New York City, New York
Franny
geography.
Lou.
Franny Lou, the
Franny
bully.
Lou.
Yeah, every
fucking great,
every
man.
town had one.
I have a really good friend
Yeah.
that is 100% one of the
one of
characters in the
those
movie.
Guido guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's based on my friend
Mike
Gino.
Musto
Mike Musto.
probably knows Gino. Was
probably knows
cruising
Gino.
in a turbo Trans Am in
Gino.
'87.
Yeah.
And it's totally these
Gino
fucking guys.
Caffarelli is my. This is I usually try to write things that are somewhat autobiographical, but in this case, it was his. It was biographical. It was his life.
And wait, he
grew up-
plays the
he
father.
plays the dad.
Right.
He was in my first movie, which was called Big Fan, and he played the brother.
Uh-huh.
This time I cast him as the dad.
The Italian accents are strong with
He's
these.
yeah.
Is
He
that his
knows-
real accent?
No,
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 he's really hamming it up. He's like a
Yeah.
fucking Queens Guido, right? Not a real
Yeah,
Italy
but his
Guido.
dad,
Yeah.
he's basically, I assume he's impersonating his father.
Right.
Because that's what every father sounds like.
Yeah, that's like
every
there's-
Guido's father. is
That
like
family is such
What are
a...
you going to do with you? Yeah.
You can't get a good girl on the street?
Yeah. There's a lot of that. And it sounds a little corny, but it's actually, I've witnessed enough of it to know it's very accurate. So he grew up kind of cruising the boulevard. He's a Bayside Queens guy, and he grew up cruising the boulevard and like driving around. A lot of it's very kind of American graffiti, but
Right.
crossed with
But
Jersey
20
Shore.
years later.
Yeah, it's like an
kind of
80s
thing.
Jersey Shore American graffiti sort of movie.
But that scene is like... Not the scene in the movie, like that car cruising scene is. I was a few years later, but it was really
it was
pretty
it was
accurate,
huge.
I think,
Yeah.
to what it was
and
really
I
like.
think we've screened the movie in different parts of the country, and even though it's a very deeply New York movie, it's actually very. I'm pleased to find it's very relatable that every town,
Well, that I think just was
has
like
a strip where
yeah.
people.
It's like a Guido Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, it's
almost.
a little. Yeah, that's a great.
That.
I would love to put that on the poster.
You wanna? Is it too late?
It's too late. I already went to press.
I want a quote on a poster, but it's fun.
Yeah,
it's a fun movie.
So he's in. So it takes place kind of on the Queens Long Island border, which is Queens is right next to. Queens is technically in Long Island.
I'm gonna get a map.
Up a map.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a map.
Oh, we can do that.
No, so yeah, that's the best thing about the best part about this show. Watch this.
Can I
here.
Point to it and it'll
look. I can pull that into the show. Now we can talk about where's Francis Lewis.
Now, if I
point,
is my
no, your hand
camera?
isn't, but the mouse. No, you're fine. But the mouse is.
No, I want it to be. Okay, so I back it up a little. Mm-hmm. So what's confusing is this is Long Island, like this body here.
Yes,
that's Manhattan. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Brooklyn, Queens.
So Queens like is sandwiches between.
Yeah, it's a little. I always explain this to people who are not from New York. Brooklyn and Queens are technically on Long Island, like the actual physical island.
Yes.
But when you talk about Long Island, you're talking about everything east of Long Island. Starts
it's east of the Belt, east of like the Belt Parkway.
That's
right?
kind of the border. Yeah, the Belt Parkway.
Well, Belt Parkway is just right here, by the way,
which goes up to the Cross Island. Yeah. Belt Parkway, Cross Island. So
Yeah.
the movie. So right there is everything to the left is Queens.
Yeah.
And everything to the right is Long Island. So right on that line.
Right here.
This is cool.
Yeah.
That's the Cross Island Parkway.
Where's Francis Lewis?
Which kind of metaphorically is like wrong. When you talk about wrong side of the tracks.
Right.
The Cross Island Parkway is the tracks.
Yeah.
So on the left, to the left of it, that's Guido, and to the right of it, that's Jap.
Yeah, it's Jewy.
Yeah, Guido, Jap, and
it's a pretty fine line too, actually.
It's like these people are like the working class, Italian
and they work
Guidos.
for these people.
And then you go like, they do their. They do all their auto detailing.
Yeah, and they're landscaping.
Yeah,
but they own the landscaping businesses and the house
But the guys
painting.
who actually do the landscaping work are down in Jamaica.
Yeah.
But so if you're here, you're like probably Christian. You're lower middle class. Not just working class. And here suddenly you go like a few inches to the right, and you're like a rich Jewish suburbanite. So I was not the rich part, but I was like normal Jewish suburban. I grew up in Merrick.
Which is down here a little bit.
It's down
there. Where is it? Where's Merrick? Here.
Oh, wow. This is so fun.
Yeah.
So Merrick, I
grew up Long Beach where
I grew
we're
up
talking
there.
about
So this is all just Jew country.
Yeah.
And
so in the film, you pretty much have a Jewish girl who sort of comes to the wrong side of the tracks.
Right. So like in high school, that's the part that for me was autobiographical. For Gino, he's on the Gio side. Gio is the main character played by Spencer Bowman, the guy, and he's sort of like Tony Manero, Mr. Cool.
He's got a real 50s greaser haircut happening.
I fact checked everything in the movie with real authentic Guidos and car. What do you call a car person? A car
gearhead?
A gearhead.
Yeah.
I had. Well, it was really actually Guido. It was a one-stop shop because I had Guido gearheads. We can get to that, but they were on set the entire time. I had just so many car people.
Oh my God!
out.
Next time you do a movie like this, please let me be a fact checker for Guidos and car.
I would
people.
check because I'm. I was living in mortal terror. You don't want to make a movie like this and then have everybody be like, that's the wrong fucking terminology.
Oh, dude, I watched this movie very intently paid attention to that stuff. And
was it right? I'm scared.
It's about 99% right.
Okay,
it's really, really good.
So there's there's a fair amount of car talk in it, and so like they're checking out each other's engines, and I don't want to.
The terminology used for the engines is correct.
If I simply pulled up the terminology on Google, I was afraid it would just sound like somebody did.
It was right.
So I was like,
410 posi rear, the 3.8 turbo with sequential fluid.
There was something about a 305
tune port injection.
I don't know what a tune port is.
What that means is it's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
That's the worst version of that engine. It's the car it came with.
Okay.
That's the engine that came with that. Is the character's referring to like a late 80s IROC. And that's the correct engine that came in that car. It's known for being a flaming hunk of shit.
Oh, so that's actually was probably bad because that was the climactic race.
It's okay. He gave him lengths.
I had a his car is the hero car is the Grand National. So that was going up. The climactic race was Grand National going up against this car with a 305 tune port, which it sounds like was not a very not a very fair fight.
Well, it's I'll tell you something. Without giving the movie away,
Yeah.
I think the results
Yeah.
of what happened in that race
are accurate.
to
Okay.
those cars.
Phew.
Yeah, you're good.
Movie
Don't worry
comes
about
out
that.
tomorrow. It's too late to.
You're fucking
And then
good,
there's
bro.
the.
There's only one. You want me
yeah.
to tell you the
Tell me
wrong
the
one?
one. Yeah,
There's
yeah.
one wrong one.
Okay.
Joey
Balls was Joey Balls was my creative consultant.
In a part of the movie, the lead character Gio refers to a car with a smaller engine as a V4 when in fact it came with an inline 4. That's
You're
the
talking
only
about-
thing
at
I
the
found
end.
that's wrong. Yep.
Okay, at the end. Well, we don't even have to say where it is.
It doesn't matter, but it's the only thing that matters that's wrong.
It was some like Gremlin. What was that car?
Dodge Omni.
You really know your.
Bro, you're on a car
You
podcast.
should host
This is
the show.
I should host
Okay,
the
so
show
he
about
said
cars.
okay, so he says a Dodge Omni for a V4. It's got some muscle.
Yep, but it's an inline 4.
So I should have had him say for an inline 4. It's got
Or
some,
for a little
But he's
4
talking
or
to the
for a
girl,
4.
so maybe he's simplifying it and talking down.
You
to
know
her.
what?
Can I justify it as?
You don't have to defend it. It is what it is.
But I want it to
but
be right.
You fucking got
Okay.
like until 15
Okay.
seconds from the
And
end of
then
the
there's-
movie before.
Okay, and I blew it. And then there was a guy talking about hooker headers.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
Hooker is a brand that makes muscle car headers, and
Yeah.
that would be accurate.
305 hooker
Yep.
headers.
Yep.
Okay.
Hooker headers, 410 posi rear is totally accurate.
Yeah.
The-
Okay.
Your gearhead credibility in this movie is very high.
I said, "Are you sure?"
It's
I
very,
said,
very
Joey
high.
Balls. You're positive that's right? Because
Dude, as
he
f-
could have been, he could have been like fucking with me.
He could have. He
You
could
know,
have.
like
he could have
when-
wanted you to come on this
Like
podcast
the girl
and
who
have
gets,
me call you out.
could have been like the girl who gets the Chinese symbol tattoo.
Oh my God.
On her,
And it
back
means
of her
hoe?
neck. Right. It means big American whore.
Yeah. Why the choice of the Grand National for the hero car?
That was
Which I love.
Yeah. Well, I grew up. We'll go back to the map. Oh, we're going to the Grand
Oh yeah,
National.
no. Here,
Oh.
we'll leave the map up. Sure.
Okay.
What do you got?
So I grew up. Just to finish the geography, I grew up on Long Island, Merrick, and in my high school, I was not as clear by this point in the interview. I was not a gearhead in high school. I drove a Toyota Corona.
Nice.
You know what a Corona is?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
I don't have to check with you.
No, but believe it or not, if you drove a Toyota Corona today,
You wanna pull up the Corona?
yeah,
This
you
is
would
fun.
be a gearhead. You
Really?
weren't then.
Was it? Oh, does it have some kind of like?
Wasn't the Corona rear wheel drive?
Yeah, and it was
Because they use
not-
them for drifting and shit.
I had the gray
What looked
one.
the most like yours?
Mine?
Point at it. Yeah, point at the picture that looked the most like
These all
yours.
looked way too new.
What year do you think yours was?
like 80.
Like this?
Yeah.
Yeah. This.
Yeah.
If you drove this today,
That's what I
you
do.
would be a connoisseur.
Oh, it's kind
I
of.
swear to God.
Really?
Yeah.
They're back.
I
I see those goddamn
early Toyotas are very cool now.
no power steering.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Did you cruise in this?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't cruise. I just masturbated.
Everyone in your movie fucks a lot.
Yeah, they do.
It seems that it's like car, fucking.
Yeah,
Goes-
and
it
I
goes
cut
right-
some. I cut some of the fucking.
Did you?
Yeah,
That was
and
even
some
more
of the-
fucking.
Yeah, there was. It's not like a porno. Yeah.
No, it's not graphic.
But that's what they do. They go to the
yeah.
boulevard. They.
And then they
scope.
They pass.
It's a ritual. It's a whole. I love.
It's like roosters and it's literally peacocking.
Bruce. You mean that there's a
No, the cars going back and forth
there's
and
a courtship
dating ritual,
Yeah, it
yeah.
almost could be like a National Geographic.
Yeah.
The
wild Guido chases the female.
he demonstrates he demonstrates his prowess by
Yes.
having the largest the loudest
Engine.
muffler.
The loudest muffler.
So the part
And he
when
gets pulled over for no cats. That's accurate.
I was so
It's
nervous.
Very good.
That was accurate too.
Totally.
Because that was not Joey Balls who told me to say that. He wasn't there at that moment, so I.
No, you were great. You're on
Oh,
point.
that's actually probably.
Oh, is this
accurate.
it
What's
here?
that? Oh, that's a 71. No.
I mean, if you were driving,
I was driving-
this, you would be a proper connoisseur.
Oh,
this is like a beautiful, or it could have been, I don't know, this terrible looking thing. It's an 81.
Yeah.
81?
Okay. I'm saying yes to every car, but yeah.
You're saying yes. See, if you had some
The
like this, you'd be
81.
fire.
No, the 81 seems better.
They're really
Yeah.
focusing on the Toyota. It could have been
We're
this
suppo-
terrible one. That's an 84.
No, that's way too.
That's
new.
really
Yeah.
terrible.
My dad had an Opel Cadet.
Oh yeah, the favorite of
trying to just name
Top Gear
cars
host Richard
to-
Hammond. Just to
Trying
fill,
to name
to
cars
fill
to appeal
airtime?
to your audience. No, I could.
Here's the question about your
yeah.
Grand National.
Oh,
The
so
Grand
why you were
Nas-
asking
yeah.
me why so in my high school, I drove the Corona, which was not effective, and all the Guidos in my high school drove you know, the IROC, the Camaro, the Trans Am,
Yep.
the Firebird,
Yep.
all that stuff, and you know, with the T-tops, and they all had the freestyle blasting from it.
Right.
That music and those cars, to me, I don't know if you're
The 80s rap.
It's not rap. It's dance. It's 80s dance music. It's like it's a form of music called freestyle, which was big in New York City and certain other parts of the country. It's like Taylor Dane, Expose, Shannon, and you know, if you ask somebody in Oklahoma about that music, I thought it was top 40 music, and some of it broke through, but like Stevie B, Johnny like Party Your Body.
It turns out it's like heavily local to this area.
I didn't realize that was like the soundtrack of that subculture. I just thought that was the music that the whole world was listening to. Like that was Drake in 1987, but it was, you know.
Oh, fuck. You know what's a little inside in your movie that took me right back to home?
Yeah.
At one point, the lead character, he works in like an auto shop of some kind, a parts store or something, and he goes in the back and the 10-10 wins things come up. And I had like a flashback.
You give us 22 minutes. We'll give you the work.
I had such a flashback to the 10-10 wins.
Oh, good.
Like, fuck, this guy is from New York because that comes
on. And the
on.
car... so everybody listened to that. Everybody was playing those songs, and those were the cars. So I just, when I first wrote the movie, I thought, well, he should have an IROC. And then Gino Caffarelli, who was my inspiration for the movie, he's like, no, it's got to be a G body.
Yeah,
it's got to be a G body.
Of course,
you got to be
in that Guido
nobody
accent.
Drove. Yeah, he's like,
it's got to be a G body.
Cut me some
so
slack. He's like,
funny.
can't be. It's got to be Monte Carlo. It's got to be a Buick Regal. It's got to be boxy.
Yep.
And then I was like, well, what would he... actually, you know what? The inaccuracy I've been told is that guy couldn't afford that car.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
Unless he makes money selling the stolen radios, which is apparently his gig. So maybe he can afford the car.
Maybe he can. And then and then in some scenes, we had 3 of those cars because we had like... And we had
stunt car, car, whatever.
And one of them was a GNX, which is, I guess,
did you really have a GNX? They're the really good ones. They're the rare ones.
And apparently, they're very expensive.
They are. Yes.
So but people lent us. Everyone lent us their cars.
Actually, a couple of commenters on my Instagram when I said you were coming in said they had friends with cars in the background. The Fox Body convertible in front of Carvel. I mean, because you know about Radwood. Do you know what Radwood is? 80s are so fucking on fire right now.
Yeah.
All of it's blowing up because my age, I'm in my 30s.
Yeah.
We're starting to get just a little bit of money, and unlike a car from like the 60s, you get a car from the 80s, you can drive it. You know, you can use it as a car. It doesn't need to be a museum piece. It doesn't need a ton of special care. And we see these cars and we go,
80s muscle cars you're talking about?
80s,
or anything?
whether it's muscle cars or 80s, BMWs, 80s Porsche. It's reasonably
Everybody
affordable.
in Venice has that the mustard yellow Mercedes diesel.
Oh my God!
Thing.
Well, in LA, the 300D, yeah. Well, first off, they were very well made.
Yeah.
They feel very solid.
And they fill it with like corn oil.
Well, they run them the diesel. They're very easy to convert to biodiesel.
Nobody in New York is doing that.
No, because in New York, no one gives a
and
shit
it's
about
always
the environment
mustard
in New
yellow.
York.
Why?
Well, this color isn't the mustard yellow. This is what I call Jewish racing gold. This is the mustard yellow, the pale.
It's a
pale yellow. Here's the thing about these cars. They fucking run forever.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. These cars you could put, these are traditionally million-mile chassis. So these cars, they start their life.
So Venice Beach is sort of like Cuba with the 50s.
Kind of, yeah.
This is the Cuba.
Here it's optional. Here these people are doing this
They're
by
not doing
choice,
it out of
not
economic
because
desperation.
Yeah, in Cuba you'll see the same car, but it'll have like a Russian motorboat engine in it.
Oh, like literally
fucked up. Yeah, in Cuba they do crazy engineering to keep these things running. Here in LA, an '80s Benz is definitely a style statement.
It's a political statement almost.
Well, it could be if you want to be heavy environmentalist with the biodiesel.
Very Bernie, it seems. Okay,
they are quite Bernie. Yeah, and if you want to be like a Venice hippie, you can totally rock a 300D. I have an old Mercedes actually, not this old.
I think you keep trying to ask me a question and I don't let you.
I don't know. I asked you why the G body.
The G body. Yeah, he just said that's much cooler, and I also think it's. I've never seen them. I feel like the IROCs maybe. I can't think of a movie that's had them, but it feels more like the obvious choice.
I agree.
And I've never seen those. I mean, I'm a movie guy, not a car guy. So my awareness, I have a fairly high awareness of cars in movies, and they're always, it's Steve McQueen. It's always like those 69 Mustang.
Right.
What is it, like 60?
The 68 Mustang is Bullet.
Or right.
I hate Bullet.
Oh.
I hate.
But I've never.
You never seen it?
No, I've never seen 80s muscle cars in a movie.
Oh no,
Yeah.
no.
So it's
I
a
think
little
that
fresher.
is really works, and not just the hero cars and the lead cars.
Yeah.
Actually, first off, I think the three main characters are driving the exact perfect cars for their characters.
It's there's three friends. There's he's got the hero guy, the cool guy's got a Grand National. His kind of wingman has a yellow.
It's so yellow.
Kind of canary.
Yellow IROC on
I think
chromes.
we might have yellowed it up in post. but
It's so yellow.
It's very yellow. And it has, did you see on the back what it says?
I don't
It
recall.
says, I run on cologne.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Is that a thing you're aware?
I understand the joke,
Get
but I
it?
didn't see it in the movie.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
IROC. Yeah, I run on Cologne.
That was
That's
what
very funny.
all those cars, all those Trans
it
Ams
said it
in
on
New
the
York.
back windshield.
Yeah, across the back. He throws a rag and it blocks it, but for a split second you can see it says, I run on
When
cologne.
I watched it again, I got to see it.
Yeah.
And then Emily, the Jewish girl,
She's
drives a cabrio, which is so super on point.
That I didn't have to consult anyone on because every girl in my high school that I lusted after,
Yeah.
that was the pretty girl car in my high school, and I think maybe
I think mine too.
yeah,
I had
the
three
white,
or four
the
Jewy-
white cabriolet convertible, and did they even make that in other colors? Because I don't think I've ever. No, I'm not
red,
joking.
yeah, no red. Yeah,
They did.
Yeah, they did.
I have never seen that car in another color.
The new
It's like an
version of
iPhone
that is
to
a
me.
white Jetta. Although the totally average Jewy girls drive white Jettas now. Or white 3 Series.
They
like
do?
lower end 3 Series. Yeah, because they don't make the cabrio anymore.
Oh,
But at the time, yeah, they made them in white, red. Yeah,
Okay.
watch. I'll pull up. Volk.
I think I'm going to be able to fill the hour.
Of course. Did you really think you were
Yeah,
going to?
I was because I don't know anything about cars, but I know
Don't
about.
sell yourself short.
So,
Look at all these colors.
I
Got a bunch. We got red. Look, we've even got the shitty tan. You got
I
the
thought-
white. You got the red, the black, the blue.
I really thought it was like the iPhone where it just comes in white.
Some of them are rad. There's some dudes.
It's more like the iMac clamshell.
This one's pretty close to the girl's car, although it had white wheels. It had the white
You
wheels on it.
noticed? Yeah.
I noticed everything about cars in
So
movies,
there's
bro.
every.
Here it is. This is her actual car in the movie.
Yeah, that's it with the roll bar. Yeah, and we never. That was it. Yeah,
There it is.
that's the car. That was the only car we had to actually. No, I shouldn't say that. Of the main cars in the movie, that was the only one we actually had to rent because you can rent. It was a not very, but it was a relatively low budget movie. And the thing, the stupid thing was to try to make a movie with cars on a low budget because it's
Doing anything with cars on a low budget is very, very hard. Cars are really expensive to work with and
they're
work around.
expensive to get.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of rely on people lending us their car.
Yeah.
And then they're very. It's just complicated because in a dialogue scene, you could knock out 10 pages of dialogue in a day, but as soon as you're dealing with cars, it just
To be in a moving car for a conversation
I didn't
becomes a
think
whole
it through.
thing.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't think it through when I wrote it because I wrote. They're driving around talking a lot. So on the page, as I was writing the script, it just to me, I thought I'm writing dialogue scenes, and it sounds stupid, but I didn't really think through. Okay, I'm writing dialogue scenes, but it's taking place in a car. So you're not really writing dialogue scenes.
Yeah.
You're writing action scenes,
Yeah.
or not Michael
And were
Bay
you
action.
using dollies? Like
No, I didn't.
Dolly?
Well, the way to do it that's manageable is with what they call a process trailer. Is that a term?
Isn't that where you put the car on a flatbed that
Yeah.
has cameras on it? Yeah.
Yeah, you just put it
It's
on
like
a
low
flatbed.
flatbed and drive
so-
around and shoot it.
Right, so
Yeah.
it's quiet and smooth, and you can rig. There's all these rigging options that
Yeah.
you don't. We didn't have the money for that, so we were shooting it just, clamping cameras onto the different.
Oh, that's charming. That's what I do.
It's charming, but you did that, yeah.
Yeah, but I have
it's-
no money. So
But it's bumpy and it's loud, and you have to put your sound person in the trunk. Literally.
Did you really have a
yeah.
sound guy in the trunk? Oh,
yeah,
poor bastard.
A woman.
Oh, no.
I put a woman in the trunk.
There's no implications there at all.
So It just became very logistically complicated, and you can shoot like a quarter of a page in a day versus you're like on schedule. You got to get through 10 pages a day if you want to like make your stay on budget.
Yeah.
So we were worried. The first thing we were worried about was how are we going to get all these cars, because it's a period piece and it's and there's just cars in the foreground. You need cars in the background. It all takes place like.
I really liked your choice of background cars, and you had a lot of really interesting background cars too. Yeah, you had some really interesting.
When you watched this, you were looking
100%.
Oh, that's amazing.
100%. I watched this looking at all the cars in the movie.
That's cool. So we put out a call. I thought, how the hell are we going to do this? This might have been a really bad idea. And then, of course, anytime I say something like to Gino, he says, "Don't worry, I got it. I got you."
So Gino made all the cars
Gino
appear?
gets on his magic Franny Lou Facebook page, which,
Oh, is this where these guys still hang out with each other in their 40s? All the OG Franny Lou guys?
On the page?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So he puts out the call. He's like, "Guys, I need some cars." And the next day, there were like the actual cars.
Yeah, they just start appearing, right?
They just start appearing out of nowhere because they're all hidden in garages. You don't know how many. When you're going,
you don't see them all at once.
Maybe
you
I
see
think
them
they're more
one
hidden.
At a time.
I think they're even more hidden in New York than they are here.
For sure.
When you're just, I don't.
Here we have
cars,
a year-round season here, so people drive their
when
shit all the time.
When I come to LA, I see vintage cars, and when you're in New York, you don't see vintage cars, especially when you're living in like. The
city part of it,
right? You need the cars are in, Howard Beach and Bensonhurst and Bay Ridge, and
you go to Captree on a Sunday morning, the end of Ocean Parkway. That's where you go.
So
we used to race on Ocean Parkway, but that was a big race. We used to do big speeds.
Oh, really?
150, 200 miles an hour on Ocean Parkway. Yeah, we'd fucking go.
Was that out? Where's that at?
Ocean Parkway?
Out by.
Did my map go away?
Is the one by JFK? Is that the one by JFK? That was one.
It's the one that goes east from Jones Beach.
Yes. Oh, right, by Malibu nightclub. Yeah.
It goes. Here we go. Look at this.
So that was one.
Ocean Parkway was rad, and look at this. It just you come down the Meadowbrook. You come down the Meadowbrook, you go out past Jones Beach, and then look at this fucking road.
It's like the Bonneville Salt Flats.
It was all the way out to Captree. Where's Captree? Captree was here. And we'd have a big car show out there.
Wow.
And the city let the pavement, or whoever, the government, let the pavement go to shit, so you couldn't go fast there anymore. And it's bumpy as hell now.
Really?
But 20 years ago, you could fly down Ocean Parkway.
That was a scene, and then 86th Street in Brooklyn was another big cruising racing scene.
Yeah,
more cruising than racing.
Yeah, there are some street racing scenes though. There's some proper
now.
No. I mean, in your movie, proper drag racing scene.
Yeah. The thing about that was interesting to me, at least. I'd never shot. I don't shoot action.
Yeah.
I've never shot anything action oriented. So I had these stupid thing number 2 I did was I'm gonna have racing in my indie movie. Without much of a budget, and I of course have I don't know anything about safety. I mean, I hired a guy, this guy Manny Severio, who's like, I don't know, I think he's kind of famous in stunt. He's like a top guy, and somehow he just liked us and wanted to help. So I said, Manny, how are we going to shoot these racing scenes? Can you just direct the movie for the next couple of days? I was like, is this dangerous? I'm going to put the actors in the car, and don't they have to be going 85 miles an hour? And he goes, no. In a racing scene, like the scenes in this movie, how fast does it look? I don't know. It looks like they're going.
I think it looks like they probably crack 100, but I wouldn't be surprised if they kept under 60 or 70 for the actual
20.
shooting. 20?
15 to 20.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's Manny's like, when you're shooting a racing scene in a movie, I mean, they probably go faster on bigger budget movies, but he's like, it's not necessary to ever go above 20 if you don't, have the proper...
Because you can make it look faster on camera?
It's part tricks. There's editing tricks, but that's not what Manny was... That's not Manny's area of expertise. It's just I don't know. It's something about that speed, moving a static camera, a car moving past a static camera at 20 miles an hour. He said looks like 80 miles an hour.
That's very interesting.
It was interesting, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, with the appropriate sound effects and the right cutting.
You gotta juice it up, but yeah.
Actually, that leads me to another question.
Sound?
The sound effect of that Grand National, was that recorded from that car?
No.
Okay.
It sound.
What was it recorded off of?
What kind of car?
Yeah.
That was Oh Jesus, I don't.
Because
I don't
there's
know.
two things about it. One, it sounded a little V80 and not V60 like
It's one of those things where that's where I made the conscious decision not to go with reality.
just to make because it would sound better.
It's just the actual recorded sound. It's just disappointing. It's not that meaty, big.
That's a turbo car. A turbo car is going to be a
It's
quiet
like in,
car.
are you familiar with the film Rocky?
Yes.
You know about how they'd sound design the punches in that? It's
No, tell me.
so a normal punch doesn't sound like all that much, you know?
Yeah.
The punches in the fight scenes in Rocky.
Real snappy, like
Can you
poppy.
can you Google it?
I don't know if I can play them.
No, don't play it, but you can Google like what those sounds are, and it's like 17 layers of, you know, a building exploding, a cow being dropped 8
There
stories.
we go. Punch sounds used in Rocky.
Punch?
All right, hold on. Plot. Hold on.
This might be too off.
This might be too. It's okay.
Okay,
No, hang on.
but-
Just give me a sec. Keep going. I'm looking in the background.
So the Rocky sound effects for a punch are ludicrous. Like what the actual punch, how they produce that actual punch. It's like a bag of potatoes being dropped off a 10-story building, combined with, you know, a guy getting shot in the face, combined with, you know, does it have it?
I'm looking in like things you need to
might
know
be
about
Rocky.
About Rocky.
So the car, it basically, my point is, I don't mean to get on a whole Rocky tangent, but I made the decision to just make it sound awesome, and in this case, I'm like, you know, for the 8 car nerd assholes who are going to quibble about, you know,
you'd rather make it sound better than.
I'd rather have this one. I said I'm gonna, because sometimes accuracy is more. You know, it would bother me if it was inaccurate, and the car lovers.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a takeaway. It's not. I didn't go. That isn't right. But I went. I wonder if that's the actual
it's juiced
sound
up.
or not.
No, that was juiced up
Yeah.
with like we need more bass, more cowbell, more meat. It's just a really meaty.
Well, because it's not just a Grand National. He's got the fastest Grand National around, so it's presumably modified and louder and cammy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing though is Grand Nationals are automatic. And at one point, he slows down, and there's a blipped downshift effect, like as if it was a manual
God,
gearbox.
you go deep.
Yeah. So,
Well, it wasn't. It was an
make-
automatic car.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know how he had the thing in the
It's got
middle between the 2 seats.
the big H handle,
the T.
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. But you're right. Oh, so my sound. Oh, in post we added.
Someone added a
a
downshift blip,
that. Oh, a downshift. Oh, I think you meant
like as
the
if it
sound
was
of-
as if you would go down a gear with a manual transmission.
Oh, I think you meant the thing where you go from like drive to park.
Oh, not the change in
What do you
shifter
call-
noise. No.
What do you call that thing?
Gear change noise, I guess. I don't know. Shifter.
Oh, okay. So we okay.
whatever.
All right. So far,
I was just curious because if that
This-
really was the Grand National, it sounded fucking badass. So it would have been the best sounding Grand National in history because they don't
No.
sound like much.
Grand National.
No, they don't sound like much at all.
Oh, really?
No, they're very quiet.
Oh.
That was sort of the thing about that car at that time.
But you could make it sound louder if you
all those other
want.
cars, those fucking IROCs
Yeah.
and shit, to make them go fast, you had to make them really loud.
Right.
Right? Because it's just more of everything. More
Right.
cam, more fuel, more air, just more in, more out, and that turns into more volume. But with a turbocharged car, like the Grand National was,
Yeah.
the engine itself, the V6 engine, does not have to be all cammy and rough and that. You just more turbo, more air. So when you make them loud, it just sounds like a loud vacuum cleaner sound added to it, and not to
okay.
it. So it would have been interesting if that car had both. That's all.
Oh, okay.
But it was cool.
Well, I'm glad. Okay.
It was all right. But
This interview has been a good fact check for me.
next time before we make the movie,
So I would. What was I going to say?
I don't know. I don't know where we're at.
So the car guys. So we were worried that, you know, how are we going to get all these car guys? And they just showed up on set, and then they just showed up every day, and then it just grew and grew and grew. By the time
And they probably brought more people and more
and then it
cars.
became like a happening. It
Yeah.
became like a car meet, right?
And then it was really cruising on Francis Lewis
and
Boulevard.
every
You
night,
weren't.
and then it became a nuisance because like we got enough cars. We just needed, you know, we'll put out a call. We need 5 cars to line this little stretch of background for parking, and
50 show up.
50 show up. And the other problem is they're all ridiculously awesome cars.
Yeah, you can't have every car be like a rad show
So
car.
I had like my choice of 15. What's like a 1571 Chevelle, whatever
muscle cars,
whatever, like some legendary car. And then I was like, does anyone out there have like a Celica, an 82 Celica? And that was, I mean, maybe now it's easier. But that was what I couldn't
the
get.
challenge is in finding older
I need a
normal
Gremlin. I need a
cars that are
Subaru.
in sort of decent condition, as if they were, newer.
So that's what we had to rent.
Like that Tercel or whatever they steal.
Yeah.
That thing was like real clean.
That's yeah.
I think it was a
that we
Tercel.
rented. That
Oh,
we
you
had to
did?
rent. Yeah. So it became this reverse. Like the more pristine and jaw dropping the car was, the less exciting and interesting it was for me. But then my picture car coordinator was just this guy, Josh K, whose job was to like just bring me cars.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a powder blue. What's like, it's just
Gremlin.
the most mundane.
Oh, like
Gremlin's
just,
like a shit car.
like a Plymouth Satellite or something,
Just-
or like
right.
a Corolla or
Dodge Dart or a
Yeah.
K car.
K car. A K car would be about the most boring car you could find.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone who has at this
That was
point
like
in time, if you have a mint K car, there's something wrong with you.
That was like, a first edition Michael Jordan rookie, whatever.
Yeah.
So when I got one of those, I was like, put that in the background. So certain cars.
Yeah,
I'm
there's like someone at one point. There's the mintest like Lincoln Mark 7 I've ever fucking seen. It's like silver.
Crazy. It was,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. And there's like really good period modifications in the car. Like, like they're modified as they would have been during that time.
Yeah, those guys don't fool around.
It was very, very cool.
And then
man.
they started, and then they just kept showing up. And then the next thing that happened was we got through all the car days. So they were all like, just every night they would come and they would hang out and they would stay till 5 or 6 in the morning and you tell them to go home. They're like, no, it's cool. We're good. I'm like, no, but we're done. Just go home.
Like, we're not done.
We're not done. We're good. And then they're like, so what time should we show up tomorrow? And I'm like, well, tomorrow actually, I've got bad news for you. Tomorrow we're shooting a telephone conversation scene.
Yeah.
And they're like, they would pause for a second and be like, well, I'll come just in case. And I'm like, no, but it's they're indoors.
funny.
She's in her room. He's in her room. There's
We'll just keep an eye out, make sure things okay.
They go, you never know. I'm like, no, there's no, unless a car drives through the wall like
So
Kool-Aid.
Fucking funny, dude.
So then we would just be shooting like these telephone conversation scenes, and they would be all there.
They just
outside.
They just
and
need
then
something
but
to
then they
do.
started getting noisy, and then we're like, guys, and then they became not a nuisance, but like, guys, just come back tomorrow.
So funny.
We might have some.
Do you
more.
think they were like invested in the
They-
plot of the movie and wanted to like?
No,
see
they
what
didn't
happened?
even know. They didn't even know what we were shooting.
They
I mean,
just
they
wanted something to do.
Well, they were really excited because it was the Franny Lou movie. Because these are all neighborhood guys who cruised Franny. Franny Lou is Francis Lewis Boulevard. That's kind of what they called it, which was in Queens, in kind of Bayside, Whitestone, Queens.
Does it still kind of look like 1987 down there? You didn't.
Oh, we didn't dress the set.
didn't dress
we shot
it.
on. We shot on location and
Yeah.
didn't have to change much. I mean, there's a lot of the Chipotles have not reached
No, yeah.
that
Francis
that
Lewis.
stretch. Thank God. Maybe Carvel we had to change the signage a touch.
Wait.
What are you looking at?
I'm getting Francis Lewis. I'm getting Franny Lou Boulevard.
Franny
And
Lou.
I'm going Street
Those
View. Is it right here between the Grand Central and Hillside? Where should we go?
Go to like where are you?
I'm right in the middle here.
Oh no, zoom in a little more. Where is Franny Lou?
Right here.
Okay, so go to like
Bayside.
oh, that's okay. So this was the racing strip. So this was the cruising. It was a cruising racing scene.
Yeah.
Scene. not-
Francis Lewis Boulevard.
That's
right
Francis
here.
Lewis Boulevard. So
Yeah.
north of that
Here.
was right. That was the cruising scene. You had like
So
Carvel and oh Jesus.
So Street View this shit. Here's
Oh my
Francis
God.
Lewis.
Yeah. Okay, that's
Right?
not the commercial. Yeah.
This is the residential side.
Okay, but that's the
This
commercial
Is it. But it's divided
That's-
road,
right.
2 lanes each way.
So it was divided.
Back and forth
this
and
is
back
this
and
looks
forth.
like the is this the racing strip? No, I know what the racing. Okay, so that's the commercial strip. Even though we're not seeing any stores, it's somewhere near there.
Whatever.
Okay, so that would be the hangout.
Yeah.
And then like around 2 a.m, they would all kind of like move off of the commercial stretch where they were just hanging out in parking lots,
Yeah.
drinking, and they would go down here, which was
like by the park.
Yeah.
The racing.
No, but this stretch
strip
there was
here?
no lights.
Yeah.
So there was a stretch.
This is definitely
Yeah.
the street racing zone.
Yes.
Totally.
So there was a spot.
100%.
If you go up there, you don't have to be. There's like the last light.
Yeah.
You know.
That's the street racing light.
Is that it over there?
Probably.
It's probably the
Yeah,
light.
here.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the last light, and once. Yeah. Exactly. See this light?
Yeah.
That's the last light. Once you cross that, the street is bordered by park on both sides.
Yeah.
And
Oh, this is.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the diner.
that's a different diner, but that's
But
the
that's
diner.
basically it.
the
Yeah.
inspiration. Yeah. Okay. So moving
Welcome
that
to
way.
Long Island, folks.
Okay. So that's the last. What you just saw was
Yeah.
the last traffic light.
Man, this
And then once
brings back
you're
fucking memories.
once you
Holy
pass
shit.
that traffic light, it's there's
There's parks on both sides, so there's nobody
there's
around.
it's like 3/4 or a mile.
Yeah, right here.
This stretch right here
Yeah.
is just pure straightaway and and no traffic lights.
Yeah.
And that was where the racing.
That's great.
That's where the racing happened. And there's still no traffic lights. So that's still usually. You
I
try
bet
to-
it's still back in. I was going to the Hunts Point in the Bronx races
Oh.
in the late '90s.
Oh, wow.
It moved to the Bronx.
Oh, that was close because I was
Yeah.
closer to Westchester.
And then that's where that was like the Honda's street racing and shit. And then Ocean Boulevard, or what do you call it? Ocean Park.
Yeah.
Ocean Parkway was like where Ferrari guys would go. Ferrari
Oh, wow.
and Porsche guys. Like the adults would go
Each-
race down Ocean Parkway.
Right.
Craziness.
Manhattan Car Club.
Yeah. You know.
This was strict. This was G-Body,
Yes.
Buick Regals, and Malibus, right?
Yeah.
That's
You know what else actually was remarkably
And there's the
accurate dialogue? The car radios. There's a lot of dialogue
Oh, yeah,
about
yeah.
the brands of car radios and
Yeah,
what you
that's
should
the other-
steal and not. And it's all accurate.
It's Benzie, yeah. So it's 87, which was kind of the golden age of the Benzie box, which is the pullout radio. So
it was like Porsche and Mercedes have Blaupunkt, and they have the Nakamichi, and they
this one
have
has the Nakamichi, and the Blaupunkt Reno came factory with right. Blaupunkt Reno came factory with the Porsches,
And
but
the Becker, the Mercedes,
right,
yeah.
the Becker, the Blaupunkt, the Alpine. It's
fucking great.
Even if I don't know what people are talking about, I love like jargon and terminology.
Oh, yeah.
and just the nitty gritty of like some subculture. Like
Yeah.
so even though I clearly don't know anything about cars,
Yeah.
I love the sound of people talking about like name brands and details.
Yeah.
And so there's a ton of that stuff. Yeah, they would steal the main character and his friends in the movie are these kind of petty car radio thieves, and they go on these runs to Great Neck. That's where they kind of bump into the girl in the movie. And these guys, that's what they would do. They would like go. It was they were kids from Queens who would the two spots that they would always hit for stealing radios was they'd go into Great Neck, which is you go across the Cross Island Parkway, and you're in like the rich Jewish suburbs, and then you have your pick of all the BMWs,
the Porsches and the
right,
BMW,
the ones
and
with
Mercedes.
because they
and then I liked when they go outside Shea Stadium
Shea
at the
Stadium
baseball
was the
game.
other, yeah.
That fucking Willits Point area,
Yeah.
is crazy.
Yeah,
isn't
they're
it?
killing. Yeah, they're choking it. They're killing it now. But yeah.
So Willits
It's-
Point is literally
it's-
across the street.
from City. It was across from Shea. It's not directly across from City Field, but it's this chop shop.
Dude, I shot a bit there, like for my car show.
It's crazy there.
It looks like fucking Brazil. Like
Yes. Oh, that's a good-
Where's a good picture of it? Here.
That one's
This
pretty good.
is legit.
The
This is in
streets-
America, and it's directly across the street from the beautiful stadium that they play in. And the streets have like the puddles you see here. They're like a foot deep.
Well, because they don't. The city has abandoned Willits Point. They're trying to just make it die and go away.
Yeah,
They want to. They want to
choke
develop
off all
it,
the resources.
They want to develop it into a. There's the potholes.
Yeah.
So they want to develop it into one of those.
Gentrify it. And
Super-
look, here's the picture. This is the exact picture. Look, Brazil,
Yes.
beautiful stadium. It's directly across
That's
the
where you
street.
go. They had that in the Bronx too, but this was when you steal a car, you bring it here, and they take it apart.
Yeah, it's all chop shops.
An early draft of the script, there was a whole. It was much more about the car thefts, and they would bring these cars to a guy. There's all these like mobster guys who run these chop shops.
It's so crazy.
And they don't repair. The city has literally abandoned. This is like the only part of New York City that the city has disowned.
Yeah.
They don't. There's no services there.
There's no like trash
There's-
collection.
no,
nothing.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's become third world. It almost looks more like New Delhi than.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's potholes. So we shot there, but again, we're shooting with insane potholes and stuff. So it was another challenge, but it's a bizarre, crazy little place.
I did a bit for a television show I was on, and we were talking about. I was literally driving a brand new Mercedes, like $140,000 Mercedes.
Through there?
And I was driving around and around, and we do drive-by shots, right? So I literally was driving around the block over and over, and every time I'd go around, they'd move the camera, and I'd drive and get a different shot. But the residents of that area were fucking looking at me so cross-eyed because I'm looping around over and over in this really expensive Mercedes truck. They were like, something really bad's going to happen.
Yeah.
They kept looking at me super cross-eyed.
People don't go in there unless they have a reason to go in there.
Yeah.
I don't even think there's like mail delivery there.
Dude, it is so sketchy.
I love it. I love little
Gritty.
pockets.
It's gritty. Look at this. I'm telling you, look, like if I showed you this picture and I told you that we were in Mexico, you'd believe me. I mean, right? Look at that.
Yeah.
You'd believe me if I said this was Mexico.
Right,
this is in New York City today.
Yeah.
This
the
picture,
puddles, even when it's dry, the puddle. It's almost like they
it never goes away.
They fill them with a hose. Yeah,
it never goes away. It's so crazy.
There's always the guy. Yeah, that guy with the umbrella.
He's just watching the cars. He's just making sure your car doesn't disappear.
When I was in high school, you used to park Shea Stadium. There was the regular parking lot, but you'd always want to find your street parking because it was free.
Yeah.
And inevitably, you'd wind up the only place to park was in Willets Point.
Yeah.
And it's right next to Shea, the old Shea.
It was a really interesting location.
It was a very careful economic decision. Is it worth saving the $7 versus possibly losing your radio, your car?
And I love the sign, the line where it's like, see that sign says no radio. Know what that means? Radio.
Well, every car had baby on board. Usually meant there's a baby on board, but radio. There was always
forgot the no radio sign.
And everybody would always. It was glove box. Yeah. I love ritual. And this is such a ritual based world. There was the glove box, and if it's not in the glove box, it's under the seat.
Under the passenger seat.
If it's not under the passenger seat, it's in the trunk. If it's not in the trunk, then they probably took it with them. Yeah. And my friend Gino told me in high school he used to, with his Benzie box, I was like, what'd you do with your Benzie box? He said, I used to bury it.
I'm sorry?
There was a tree. He had his spot on the boulevard. Like
and he
pirates,
would literally bury it under a tree,
like pirates' booty. He would
hilarious.
Bury it. Sometimes he would take it to the diner with him, and all the guys would have. So they'd be sitting at the diner,
ordering a burger with just their radio sitting.
Well, they'd sit down. They'd drop. That was one of the first things that made me want to write this movie. Was he described the ritual of him and his two buddies. They would go to the diner, and they would have three things in their hands. They would have their radio, pack of Marlboros, and their keys,
Yeah.
And then they would just all sit down, drop all their stuff. So you'd have the visual image of three radios, 3 packs of Marlboros, and 3 sets of keys on a table at a diner with the ketchup and the menu.
It's a great visual.
I was like, okay, I want to make that.
That's very funny. And also the ritual of no one's got a cell phone, and yet everyone finds each other every night.
Yeah. Everyone just knew.
You just knew where to be.
Yeah.
And okay, here at the Carvel, you got the juice heads, and over here you got the Guidos, and over here you got the Mexicans, and over here you got the stoners. It's very funny.
The Fry Guys. Those are real. Those are all the real terminology. The Fry Guys would hang out in front of McDonald's, and they were named that because of the Fry Guys, and they were stoners.
Yeah.
And then the juice heads, the Knicks. The Knicks.
Oh yeah, Knicks were Greeks, right?
Greek, right? It's not the Knicks K-N-I-C-K-S. It's the N-I-C-K-S.
Is that a slur for Greeks? What is it?
No, just every Greek person's name Nick.
Their name is Nick.
Yeah,
it's funny now. I get it.
Yeah, Nick Papadopoulos, Nick Markakis.
That's very funny. Wow, I liked the movie a lot, though. I think it came together really good.
Thank you.
Really, really fun for someone who is not a huge car nerd. You had the right people do the right job, so that for someone who is a huge car nerd, I'm always disappointed by.
You live in. Fear is a great motivating factor. It's like when I did every movie I've done exists in kind of a subculture, where there's just this group of people who know way, way too much about that thing. So, my first movie, Big Fan, was set in the world of sports radio. So I obviously had to get the sports radio lingo right. And then I wrote The Wrestler, and that was, my fear with that was, oh my God, what if Rowdy Roddy Piper is at the premiere, and because they talk shop, just like car guys have their lingo and they talk shop. Wrestlers have their version of.
Did that work out? Was it okay?
First, you're gonna have to give me a reverse this, and then you're gonna do that. And there's heavy slang.
Were the wrestlers happy with the wrestler?
Yeah, and
I mean, that's a great movie.
They all came. There was a bunch of them that were at the premiere, and I was very nervous. And then there's that moment. I was like, "So, what'd you think?"
Yeah.
Like, you did good.
Did you have a bunch of McDonald's managers at the Founder and you're freaking out?
No.
You know what I loved in the Founder, where they have the dance of the coordination of the making the burgers,
figuring out the right movements, the burger ballet.
I loved that scene.
That was true. They did that.
Cool. God, Ray Kroc was such a piece of shit, wasn't he?
Yeah. Although he was a piece of shit. Although that movie, he probably was exactly like every other titan of industry. Any other.
That's sort of what we've learned, isn't it? That all the titans of industry were kind of pieces of shit.
Yeah, he was a piece of shit, but that you probably could have taken him out of the movie and inserted Henry Ford,
J. Paul Getty,
Steve Jobs,
Yeah.
like any business. And we don't even necessarily have to limit it to just businessmen, but just for the sake of argument, like any guy
Type A industrialist,
Rockefeller and Carnegie, all the way through Jobs, and when the expos, God knows what goes on at behind the Twitter and Facebook. But
my fiance works at Facebook. I know what goes on there.
Yeah.
It's a shit show.
Yeah.
It is. She doesn't work in the Russian government part of Facebook. She works in the normal part. But I listened to a podcast called The Dollop. You ever knew that podcast?
The Dollop? No.
Yeah, it's like an American history podcast, and they tell you all kinds of stuff, stories about people and things that are really not taught in school. And it's generally a podcast just about how fucked up your heroes were, and
like JFK went mad from chlamydia.
Yeah, like there's a bunch of stuff like that, and I just listened to the one about J. Paul Getty, and it is fucked up. He was just. God, he kept impregnating women and then being disgusted by them once they got pregnant and leaving them. He had like 5 wives by the time he was 30.
I used to think that like 10% of the people in the world were loathsome, disgusting people, and now I think it's
way more.
And I thought that was kind of like it felt accurate and fair, and actually not underestimating. I thought like, okay, 1 in every 10 people I meet are complete, amoral scumbags, and now it's, I don't know, maybe
I think it's more. I think it's
30.
Probably closer to 30.
Yeah.
30 would be the guess that I have.
Bad people. Or men.
Just people that would get away with anything they can.
I think like 3% of women are vile, and maybe 30% of men.
Yeah. Speaking of women, this is a male-dominated audience, you must understand. And the biggest, by far the biggest request to ask you about is, what is it like to work with Emily?
She has her clothes on for the whole movie.
So you have to take her seriously.
Sorry, I don't know why I said that.
It's okay. It's a good disclaimer. She does have her clothes on in the whole movie.
Boy, I just lost half the. What is she was great. She's great. She's a pro, and I think for her it was a little strange roughing. I don't think she was quite used to roughing it, but she was really game. Like I think her typical Vogue photo shoot that she does, has a bigger budget, than our entire movie. So like the whole, she's used to being like really well taken care of, and having a chair.
A chair, was that too much?
That was well, we hadn't thought of it. We got her a chair, but
That's
like it wasn't funny. It wasn't
in the first draft.
No, that kind of thing. But no, she's great. She's great.
That's good. I was impressed with her performance.
She's really good in it.
Yeah. And I'm blanking right now. The male Spencer. He was good.
Yeah.
I think all your actors were well cast in their roles. I was impressed.
Sebastian Maniscalco, who's a big comedian.
Yeah.
He was in it.
I liked the guy who ran the street races. The guy sitting in the back of the pickup truck who ran the street races. I liked him.
He had a chair in the back of his pickup truck.
I know that guy.
That's Al.
So like that character, I know that guy
Al
so
Linnea.
well.
He's great. We had so many characters.
Who was? I know this. Who the woman who played Gio's mother?
Yeah.
What the fuck else have I seen her in?
She's in a lot of stuff.
I couldn't place her face. She's like a super famous actress.
Her name is Catherine Narducci. She's in. She was in The Sopranos.
That's where. She was Artie's wife in The Sopranos.
Bucco?
Artie Bucco's wife in
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
Sopranos. That's who it was.
Yeah, she's in. You can look her up. She's in The Irishman, the new.
Yes.
Yeah. She gets a lot.
She's Artie Bucco's wife.
She's in The Irishman. She's in. She was in Bronx Tale. She played the mother in A Bronx Tale, and
I was a massive Sopranos
she was in
fan.
Goodfellas.
So
No.
maybe Goodfellas.
I think I'm just assuming she was in Goodfellas.
I think you were because there's like a 9-to-1 overlap of Goodfellas and The Sopranos and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like the same guys for 10 years got cast in fucking everything.
Yeah.
Sopranos really started everything we know about television today, I think.
That was the first, yeah.
It was the first where this season of a TV show is going to be a 13-hour movie that we cut up.
Oh, God.
God damn, was that... I've
best.
rewatched The Sopranos from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Maybe 5 or 6 times.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
No, for real. I'm really like a Sopranos... Yeah. That's why I'm kind of bothered that I didn't immediately get Artie Bucco's wife.
Yeah. Shame on you.
So the movie comes out tomorrow.
Comes out tomorrow.
October, which is what? What's the date?
September 28th.
September 28th. And it said select
limited-
theaters. What theaters?
Select theaters. It's in 10 cities. You want to pull up our...
What's your website?
We'll go to our Instagram page, cruisemovie.com.
Cruise Movie.
Look at you. That's close enough.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
waving. I'm waving.
Sorry. I'm trying. Cruise Movie. I'm typing from really far away. Oh,
Okay,
I'll
so
follow you.
scroll. Thank you. There you go. Go to that.
We have a
Right
schedule?
there.
Brilliant.
Look at that.
Here we
got our
go.
shit together. Go. Look at...
New York, Kew Gardens, of course.
We, we're
New York,
opening
L.A., Chicago, Dallas,
Bright
Houston,
Lights.
Philly,
We're on the
Detroit,
Bright
Miami,
Lights of
Tampa.
Leffert. Sorry, I shouldn't talk over you.
No, it's
Trying
okay.
to tell people where to see the fucking movie.
Here, you tell them.
I was just saying Lefferts. We're on Lefferts Boulevard,
That's perfect.
Broadway of Queens.
It's perfect.
You say it. Go ahead. New York.
New York, L.A., Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Philly, Detroit, Miami, Tampa, and Orlando.
Yeah, and I would love to post this somewhere. Now that we're friends, I'd love for you to do me a favor and post this somewhere.
100%. And I'm not blowing smoke up your ass.
and-
I really did like the movie.
Thank you.
It was I was wondering when I saw the Grand National on the cover, I was like, this could go one of two ways. Wait, is she holding an iPhone right there?
Yeah, you can play it. That was just an outtake.
Oh, that's an out.
They're
Okay,
rapping.
in between.
Was that
things.
they didn't have iPhones?
I don't have audio from that computer to
Oh,
here.
you're just flipping
but
through. Look at
I'm
it.
just going through.
We gave away half the movie in these. There's a
Oh,
let's see, what is
that was a Grand National
All right,
wheel.
Play that one. Let's see.
That's a Grand National wheel doing a burnout,
No, isn't it?
or just an animation,
It's just spinning.
just spinning.
Yeah. There's this.
Oh boy, there's
merch.
Gio with the man purse.
That's
the
not
fanny
from
pack.
the movie. That's from our merch page. But,
Oh man! Well, thanks for coming in, Rob.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought I really enjoyed our conversation, and the movie was great.
Pleasure.
In theaters tomorrow, September 26th.
play that. Click on
This
that.
guy?
Yeah, go ahead. That's the money shot. Look at
Oh, she's getting excited. Oh wait, hang on. Oh man, I
What?
fucked up by not bringing it over so the people could see it. Now This is her first time down a street race. She's got the Italian boxing gloves hanging from the mirror.
Of course.
That shit is perfect.
It's a fine line
racing a
between
68
it's a
Camaro
fine
there.
line between detail and cliche.
No, but the cliches are the details, though. That's the
but
thing.
you can be
And it's-
accurate. You can get it right, but it feels cliched. So you got to almost.
Well, because Guidos
But they
are
had
living caricatures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's tricky. Like
Everything about a Guido is so
because they
silly.
actually say like, "What's the matter?" You know.
Yeah, they
like,
and
"What's
they
the
really
matter?
do wear the Sergio Tacchini.
Get the fuck out of here! Like they say that. So
Yeah. It was great,
Sergio
man.
Tacchini, yeah.
It was great. I liked it a lot, man. Cruise the
that's
movie.
what is that car? Let's see.
The other one was like a 68 Camaro.
Let's see.
68, 69 Camaro.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't tell from this shot if it's the exact 68 or 69. I think it's a 69. Oh, shit. Before I get out of here, I have to do one more thing. We got a couple questions from the audience on the super chat.
Oh.
Just a couple short ones. Gabriel says, "Our Michelin these are car questions. I'm
these are not
sorry,
for
Rob.
me.
Probably not.
I'm just
sorry.
gonna sit back and-
That's why I'm going to blast through them real quick. Our Michelin PS4S worth $40 more per tire over the PSS. That is the new version of a tire versus the old version of the tire. I would say no. They're roughly the same for 99.9% of the driving you would do. However, make sure you check the date code of manufacturer on the older tire, because you don't want to be sold some like tire that's been sitting on a shelf for 3 or 4 years, and that's why it's cheaper. So if they're brand new PSS versus brand new PS4S, save the money, get the PSS, but make sure it is a current date-coded tire. That's my advice for you. Let's see. Another tire question. Yeah, I'm a nerd. Michelin Cup 2 versus Toyota R888s for track use in both my C7 and Noble. My first favorite tire for track use is the Bridgestone RE71R. If you can get that, I really recommend it. Cup 2s are a really good tire if you want to set one fast lap. If you want to run all day or multiple days, you're going to blow those things off and you're going to melt them and they're going to be worthless. The R888s are very sticky, and they do last a little longer than the Cup 2s when you run them hard. They're loud. So if you're going to drive the car on the street, they're going to be loud as fuck and really annoying. The Cup 2s are much quieter. But they are sticky and good tires. But again, my favorite track tire is the Bridgestone RE71R. Last one. Just 3 today. Thanking you for taking me off the ledge and buying a sketchy M3. No problem, Max. I don't want you to buy a sketchy M3. I want you to buy a good car that you'll be happy with. And if you have to stretch your budget to just afford an old German car, boy, are you going to be fucked when it comes time to fixing it. And that is the extent of our super chat. That's my advice for you guys. Rob Siegel, thanks very much for coming in.
Such a pleasure.
Cruise in theaters September 26th in major
28th.
cities. Oh, I'm sorry, 28th.
Yeah.
I apologize. I will leave the end of the show. So everyone screenshot this if you're watching the video. New York, LA, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, Philly, Detroit, Miami, Tampa, and Orlando. Go to Instagram/cruise movie to see
And you
where
can
it's
see
playing.
it on. You can also get it on iTunes. If you
Oh, you can?
Yeah, iTunes on demand. It's all
Same
that.
day?
Yeah.
September 28th? Oh,
Yeah,
great.
same.
Watch it at home on iTunes on your home theaters on September 28th. Or come over to my house and we'll watch it again. I liked it. I'm going to show it to my girl. Thanks very much, Rob. Good to meet you. Let's do it
too.
again next time you make a car movie.
Love it.
All right. Thank you. The Smoking Tire Podcast is powered by Shout Engine. Get your own damn podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. You just need a microphone, a connection to the internet, and ideally, something to say. Leave us a rating on iTunes to keep us high in the rankings. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.